join me off the dais for a few special presentations. So we have a few special presentations, and we're going to start off with the first one that's very special to us because they brought a check. Anyone who brings money to the Borough Chambers always gets to go first. So I'd like to ask a representative from Jersey Central Power and Light, Kieran Tinton, to come forward. He has a check for the Belmar PTO. So our superintendent, Dave Hallman, also Karen Shelton from the Belmar PTO, if they both come up. Again, Kieran, you want to just tell us what the check is for?
Yeah, you know, we're trying to work towards the future leaders of tomorrow. We're a utility company. We deal with electricity. We have engineers. So we're proud to support every and any education foundation that we can. You guys are really shaping the young minds in hopes that one day they'll come and work for companies like us or like Verizon. So thank you, and we're proud to support you in that.
Hey Karen, can you tell them what the money's for?
So we're taking the Belmar 8th grade on a class trip to Washington, D.C. this year. Hasn't been done in over 10 years. We're going to go down for a day, stay overnight, do some monuments, do the Arlington National Cemetery, and see our nation's capital. And this is a big undertaking and a big effort. It costs about $250 a kid to take the kids down, and we can't do it without the support of companies like yourself. We really appreciate the check. If anyone else would like to contribute to our program, we do have a crowdsourcing fundraising link on the school website, on the Belmar school homepage. There's a Donate Now button if you're interested in donating.
What's that website?
Belmar.K12.
Yeah, if you just put Google Belmar Elementary.
Belmar Elementary, that's the easiest way. There's a donate button right there. We're also having a dinner dance fundraiser. February 3rd, that's a Saturday, the night before the Super Bowl, so I know you're not going anywhere. It'll be at Taylor Pavilion. It's $75 a head, beer and wine included. Brandl's doing the food, Pat Roddy's providing the music. We're hoping to raise a big chunk of the change that we need for this trip during that dinner dance. So that information is also on the school website. There is a Facebook event page for that event. There are some posters up and downtown on the main street. So lots of ways that you can contribute toward the 8th grade class trip. And I want to thank you, Lionel, very much.
And what's the total amount of your check?
$1,500.
Real fast before you leave, we also have 2 more checks for the PTO. One is from DMR Architects for $500. From a Business and Government Insurance Agency for $1,000. Out here with $3,000. Not bad, right, for showing up to the council meeting. Thank you, and thank you, JCPL. Let's hear it for JCPL.
Okay, I'm real pleased to read off this proclamation for one of our students in Belmar. He is last December, he achieved his Eagle Scout rank, which only 4% of Boy Scouts achieve that. So we want to recognize Christian McCluskey tonight. That's Christian up there on the screen. This is a little lengthy. Colleen and April let me write it, so I'm a little wordy. So if you want to stop at intermission, go out and get a drink, and come back, I'll finish reading. Okay, this resolution honoring Christian McCluskey. Whereas Christian McCluskey, the son of Robert and Frances McCluskey, is a resident of Belmar who attended Belmar Elementary School and Manasquan High School, where he graduated as a straight A student, and is now enrolled at the College of New Jersey, where he's majoring in chemistry while also studying Japanese. Whereas in 2009, when Christian was in 5th grade, he joined the Belmar Boy Scout Troop 40 as a Weeblo Scout, where he wore his Scout uniform with great pride and gave great service to his troop. Christian was soon assigned the position of the Troop 40 scribe due to his very neat handwriting skills. Whereas, when the popcorn season rolled around, Christian would immediately begin selling his popcorn, even on the way home from the school meeting. Christian believed that the money he raised would help his Troop 40, and besides, he knew that he could win a really cool prize. In 2016, Christian sold a troop record of over $1,000 worth of popcorn. Whereas while going up the Boy Scout rank by earning many service badges, Christian earned his Arrow of Light badge, as well as being inducted into the Order of the Arrow, the equivalent of the Boy Scout Honor Society. Whereas Christian knew that in order to achieve even higher scouting awards, he needed to attend camping events. So, in the summer of 2012, although Christian felt strange and afraid of being away from home, he spent his first week at Forestburg Scout Reservation in order to gain his Star and Life Scout Award. Eventually, Christian grew to love camping, and he attended Forestburg for 3 more summers. Whereas Christian's successful Eagle Scout project, titled Seeing the Signs, up here on the screen, was the construction of 2 directional signs to aid visitors at the village at Alair State Park. Christian has placed a plaque on each sign in honor of his grandfather, Benedict Ornella, who inspired Christian to leave his mark on the Boy Scouts by becoming an Eagle Scout. Whereas on Sunday, December 3rd, 2017, Christian McCluskey of Belmar Troop 40 did his grandfather proud by achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, an award that only 4% of all Boy Scouts achieve, at a ceremony involving the state Boy Scout officials, local Scout leaders, and his fellow Troop 40 Scouts, along with many friends and former school teachers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar, along with Christian's family and friends, especially his grandfather, his Scout leaders and all the Scouts of Troop 40, along with the residents of Belmar, especially his neighbors on 4th Avenue, and all the connoisseurs of popcorn, do hereby congratulate Omi Tuso Komosatsu. That's Japanese. I tried Japanese for congratulations. Nice try for an Irishman. To Christian McCluskey on leaving his mark on Belmar by becoming a Belmar Eagle Scout. Congratulations. Christian, you have anything you might want to say to the crowd?
In fact, I do. If anyone here is willing to check out my Eagle Scout project, they're at Alair State Park. They're near the foreman's cottage and the general store. If anyone's interested in stopping by there, taking a few pictures. When I went to go take these pictures in particular, I even saw a few other Alair State Park tourists take their photos with them, and it was very pleasing to watch. So feel free to give it a look.
Mr. Harmon, Superintendent Belmar Elementary, former superintendent for Christian while he's in school. Do you want to say a few words?
Yes, I'm just here to represent our staff and to say to Christian and to Mr. and Mr. McCluskey that thank you for involving your son in our lives. Christian, I remember when you spoke at the 8th grade graduation and how inspiring it was for all of us. Christian, I would say in my 25 years of education, I've never seen a child grow so much in a short time. I was only with you for 3 years, but in talking to your teachers, from your kindergarten teachers up, they're very proud of you. And I just want to share something funny with you. On my way here, I just texted my son real quick, thinking about my son when I was thinking about Christian. They went to school together at Manasquan, and I just said to my son, Cole, what did you know about Christian? And he said, and my son doesn't talk very much, so this was surprising that he shared all this. He said, I didn't bring my glasses. Christian was always curious and never avoided hard work. He'd go the extra mile to get the grades he wanted. He was always happy to help others and was one of the kindest kids I've ever met. So Christian, that's from your classmates. I'm proud of you. More importantly, your classmates are proud of you, and all Belmar. So congratulations.
And you know who also needs a big round of applause? Could his parents, Bob and Francis, please come up?
Can we get all the members of council up in the shop as well, please? One, two. Congratulations,
So for our third presentation, our final one of the night, I'd like to bring up an incredible Belmar resident, good friend of mine as well, Wayne Blanchard. Come on up, Wayne. So before I read this on behalf of the council in regard to honoring Wayne in his new position, I just want to mention a few folks we do have this to recognize. We already recognized Dave Hallman, Superintendent of Schools at Belmar Elementary School, but also former Mayor of Lake Como, Mike Ryan. And also, really special tonight, we have a state assemblyman here with us, Eric O'Townley. I'd like him to come up as well. He has something for Wayne. So I'll go first and then defer to him afterwards. So Eric O'Townley. So Wayne. Whereas Wayne Blanchard has been an active Belmar resident since 2009. Truth be told, he started summer renting in 2005, but for that 4-year period, he's always able to volunteer and assist in bettering the lives and well-being of our residents. And whereas Wayne Blanchard has served the state of New Jersey as a state trooper for over 14 years, making our residents safer through his service. And whereas Wayne Blanchard was recently selected by his fellow troopers to serve as the president of the New Jersey State Trooper Fraternal Association. And whereas Wayne Blanchard will work tirelessly to promote and protect the membership of STFA with over 1,800 troopers, thus making our community and those who protect us safer and stronger. Now, therefore, be resolved, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar congratulate Wayne Blanchard on his election to the State Trooper Fraternal Association as president, and be it further resolved that the Borough of Belmar hereby recognizes Wayne Blanchard for exemplary and honorable service to the state of New Jersey and the Borough of Belmar. Belmar is a better town to live in and raise a family because of Wayne and his service. Let's hear from him.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Word has it, Mayor, that something was going on here today with one of Belmar's finest, so we thought that we would try to join in because Wayne Blanchard is a friend to us as well, and probably everybody in this room. I am an assembly member in the 11th District. We're just right across the river. We're not that far away, and we've known Wayne for many, many years, so we just thought, if you don't mind, we have something for you as well. So, whereas Senator Vingo Powell, General Assembly members Eric O'Townley and Joanne Downey, as duly elected representatives of the 11th Legislative District, are pleased to honor and congratulate Wayne Blanchard. In recognition of his distinguished tenure of service as president of the State Troopers Fraternal Association, as well as his outstanding law enforcement career. Wayne Blanchard's election as president of the State Troopers Fraternal Association attests to the respect he is accorded by his fellow members and their confidence in his leadership. During his exemplary career with the state police, Wayne Blanchard continually demonstrated his devotion to the state of New Jersey through his steadfast commitment to securing the safety of welfare and others in the state. The people of the state of New Jersey are genuinely indebted to hardworking and concerned citizens personified by Wayne Blanchard, whose time and energies are devoted to improving the effectiveness of their communities and the quality of life for their neighbors. Now therefore be it known to all the undersigned hereby, Honor Wayne Blanchard, heir of Cotelling, Vin Gopal, Senator, and Assemblywoman Joanne Downey. And just very, the whole entire state, he lives right here in Belmar Borough, and you know, we're just very, wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
A few words to your fellow Belmar residents?
Before I say my thank yous, I do want to congratulate Christian on his award, because one of my many regrets in life was I was a Boy Scout and did not finish to become an Eagle Scout. So give that young man a round of applause. Thank you to Mayor Doherty, the council members, my friends in labor that showed up tonight to support our business associates, our attorneys and accountants from the STFA that came to support tonight, our friends in the legislature, most importantly, the troopers that are here to support, and another guy I'd like you guys to give a round of applause to is my running mate, Steve Kuhn, because we are troopers. I wouldn't be up here today without us working as a team so diligently, and Steve, there's a lot of pressure getting awards 17 days in office, so the bar is very high for us. So I'll be brief. As the mayor mentioned, I kind of ended up here in 2005 by accident in a summer rental, and you know, looking to settle down. I saw a town growing under Matt's leadership, and by the way, the secret to Matt's success was his 5th grade education up in Edison, because my mother was his 5th grade teacher, so that's a well-known secret. But you know, I've come to love the community. I feel I've become active in it. And you just look at what Matt and the council have done on Main Street with the businesses. I prefer to keep my business in town, whether it's the coffee shops, the diners, the barber shops, and most importantly, the only bar in New Jersey, DJ's. So I enjoy, like I said, staying in the community, and have acquired many friendships, and for that I'm forever grateful. So thank you all for this award, and a special shout out to our colleagues in the Belmar Police Department. They do an outstanding job, and I was so proud during Hurricane Sandy, the tremendous job that they did as an agency, with them to see the state police come in, and state police agencies from all over the state come in and work hand in hand. And thank you, Captain Cox, for the work of your men and women as well. We look forward to working with you guys in the future. So thank you for your commitment. And anything that the state police can do for anybody in the town of Belmar, the county of Monmouth, or the state, we're here. We've got your back. So thank you again for this great work. Thank you.
So just so you know, we're going to make copies of this for everyone, so you can leave with it. So when you get pulled over on the park, you can say, I'm going to Wayne Blanchard. And then they double the ticket. Oh, so Assemblywoman Joanne Downey.
We're working on it.
All right. So we're going to take a small 2-minute break to let folks leave if they'd like to leave, or you can hang out for a council meeting. See you. Just steal that jacket. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yesterday was a very good So they're coming for the week?
Yes, hold on a second. Have to do the same. Figured out to
Piece of cake, just exact. So they have their own, they get their own life, and you just have to be willing to step in. You did a good job. Got to cross your T's, dot your I's. One of my dad, they say, dot your T's and cross your I's. That's when you're having a bit. Okay, but all your T's are dots and.
Yeah, these are gonna be good.
Long day yesterday.
Long
What was
day.
yesterday?
The inauguration, everything.
Oh, geez. Wasn't that kind of great today? What? He was. That was a very long meeting. I was tired.
No, I think that guy was exhausted.
He was exhausted.
You know, he went through the whole cycle of whatever departments he
He
was.
did. So I have worked with their organization recall. I've
Thank you, appreciate it.
You probably just sat here mute.
All right, that concludes our special presentation. Next is workshop. We have with us former council president of the borough of Belmar, John Zaliga, who it just so happens that when he left council, I actually took his seat. So him and our other friends from GCP now want to make a presentation about Verizon. Want to make a presentation about some activity up on the borough. So come up to the microphone.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I appreciate the time. My name is Robert McGuffin. I'm from Tilson Technology. We're an authorized representative of Verizon. With me is also John, and we have Raphael, who's a field technician. He's on the technical side, in case you have any questions in that way. We're here tonight to discuss our proposal for the boardwalk plan, which would bring free Wi-Fi and also increase cellular coverage to the area. We're proposing 22 nodes, and essentially what that means is that we would like to replace every third of your light posts on the boardwalk. I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'll hand out the packet. Thank you.
Got it.
So in your packet, if you unbind it, the staple portion is the first presentation we presented to staff back in summer. And then the loose papers in the back are photo simulations, which I'll be referring to. So obviously free Wi-Fi is a benefit to the community. Full disclosure, John worked really hard to bring it to your town. It was also proposed in Asbury and a few other places. But
no, this is the first time in the country. This is the initial trial for Verizon.
So, like John says, we brought it here. And that's important to us. And it's not at a small cost. You should know that the estimated value of this trial project is approximately $4 million. So it's a heavy investment that Verizon's undertaking. For the cell portion of it, why do we need it? Why is it important? And it's to address coverage and capacity issues. So to understand that, you have to assume that the amount of cell phone usage is increasing daily. To give you an estimate or an idea of how fast it's increasing, to get to 100 million users, the landline telephone took approximately 75 years, okay, to get to 100 million users. The cell phone game Candy Crush took 15 months, right? So
one game.
One game. So when you think about how many cell phones are out there, how many devices, so the small cell nodes we're proposing are actually to address capacity. So it's coverage, that's kind of the amount of bars on your phone. Capacity is the amount of data you can actually push through that. So obviously during the summer months, there's a massive spike in the use on this network, right? So it stalls the network. So the point of this is to address certain benefits, and it's a real benefit to your town, right? So 911 works better. There's economic advantages. So if this is it's a destination in the summertime. A lot of people are remote workers, so if they can work here using Wi-Fi, using cell phone, more people will come, more people will stay. There's municipal benefits too. this is really the beginning phases of 5G, like smart cities, what you're hearing. So some of the long-term projections, which are possible, would be traffic monitoring or getting out alerts if there's a flood alert or an evacuation alert. You know, the long-range projection would be you could probably even do real-time traffic routing. You know, you get into smart lighting, smart parking. You know, the future is now, and this is the backbone to the next phase of cellular coverage. So for the design type, your boardwalk is beautiful. So when we were going through this, we spent a lot of time trying to get this right. If you see the photo sims that look like this, they are kind of two versions. One is with a taller. Oh, sure, yeah, I apologize. Thank you. The one version is shrouded, and that's the one that kind of has the fatter top, and the other one is unshrouded. So what you're looking at is that trash can portion that kind of is rounded. That's the actual cell antenna that projects the signal. The little box below it is the Wi-Fi portion, and then all the kind of brains and everything are in the base of the lamppost. And then if you have a more technical drawing in that packet as well, which shows the diameter and our sketch plans. We were really cautious about making it as similar, if not same, as possible. We didn't want it fatter, we didn't want it, so it's as close to the same mount size as you're seeing. Because essentially the goal is to remove your current lamppost and replace it with an SQF owned fixture, and that's our subsidiary. We're a CLIC. Go ahead.
The lights and the way they're designed would be identical to what's there now.
Correct. So it'd be basically the newer portion is the vertical extension from that.
You're not reusing any parts of the lights that are there. You're going to fabricate an entirely new fixture.
That's my understanding. Yes.
For every third.
Every third post.
You'll be able to match the color or something like that?
We can color match perfectly, and even this came up before in discussion, the unshrouded, which what I'll refer to as the skinnier,
right,
that can actually be color matched as well.
Can I ask what's the difference between shrouded and unshrouded?
It's visual. There's some people have a visual preference to it. It offers some protection. But the actual antenna components are designed to be weather bearing, so it doesn't offer.
There's no change in function or increase?
No function, form, anything. It's mostly just aesthetics.
Okay. Thank you.
Just one thing, in a lot of the applications for these antennas is a big battery issue. I mean, in these applications here, you don't need battery backup or anything like that?
Well, the battery backup, these are going to be run through fiber. And we'll actually need 2 to 3 separate runs under the boardwalk, one for the pole, one for Verizon, and potentially one other, and that's how it's power sourced.
And then we underneath the boardwalk.
Underneath the boardwalk.
And if I could offer, when we constructed the boardwalk, we intentionally ran additional conduit with the hopes of a project like this coming along at some point in time. It seems that the need might exceed what we anticipated, so they're planning on, they would run additional conduit to get the appropriate fiber and power to the line.
And some of the fiber and things being run inside the conduit need dedicated space. They can't, interference issues and things like that.
Just one, see them all in one pipe.
No, yeah, some have to be separated. That's for function.
And that's basically like you have to take the facing off the boardwalk that's there now and just do the work. You don't have to take any of the decking off or any of that, right?
No, my understanding is that we will be able to access it that way. We can actually use the existing foundations for each lamppost as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we're trying to keep any disturbance to a minimum.
And how large of an area will it service? So closer to you are to it, the better.
The Wi-Fi.
Correct.
So yeah, the Wi-Fi, can you give us, it covers the entire, it covers all the sand?
We'll cover all the sand. It will reach the water and most likely the surf break as well.
So, and if I could interrupt, this was something that we did talk about early on, because it is something that surfers like to see, that you can have a GoPro camera, that you can have on your surfboard, and so to get to the breakwater was something we talked about.
And we knew it was important, and we pushed the engineers, and they're fairly confident they've accomplished that.
And then how far west? So you're on the boardwalk, right? So you're going east towards the surf break. How far west would it go into town?
Approximately 8th Street.
Yeah.
To approximately, so all of Ocean Avenue,
Yes.
Yes.
and up to about 8th Street.
Correct.
So if I live on Second and Ocean, I'm getting free Wi-Fi, not so bad, you know?
No, I mean, the coverage is, in my opinion, impressive, so it should hopefully serve all the beach needs.
Who's gonna own the pole?
SQF, which is a subsidiary of Tilson, they're technically a CLEC, so they are permitted to erect such utility structures, and then Verizon Wireless, excuse me, is permitted to attach. And that's a fairly good segue for the consent that is required. So in order for this to happen, we would need a right-of-way agreement, SQF and Belmar, and also Belmar would need to pass what Verizon refers to as first-level consent. There's state law which says that you have to, Verizon Wireless has to request consent to access your right-of-way, and that's normally done through resolution, which I have samples I can pass out if you need to see it. So it's normally that's passed through resolution, and then the right-of-way agreement is also adopted, and that's through SQF.
How long will this last? I mean, with technology, it's always advancing. So what do you see 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road?
So this is a good question. So Verizon is committed to a minimum of 2 years of free Wi-Fi service for Belmar. And then the projection is at least 5 years. Their maintenance, they're monitored every year and before that, but they think it would definitely be at least 5-year technology.
For the Wi-Fi.
For the Wi-Fi and for the cell.
That's true, because it's 5G, right, which is right now top of the line, cutting edge. I guess you got a point. I mean, 5-10 years, who knows? Right?
Life could be really
Right, I mean, so you own the pole.
Correct.
Or how, I guess you own it. And what's, say in 5 years, there's something new that comes out and you won't need that system. What happens then to the pole?
So we don't envision that within 5 years, obviously, but there's language in the agreement, and obviously we would welcome your input. Normally what we would do is we would either upgrade the technology, or if it was no longer serviced, we would remove the pole and restore it to as we found it.
That makes sense. And also, I'll be honest with you, right, in 5-10 years from now, there's still going to be tens of thousands of people coming to Belmar Beach. So even if there's a 6G, 7G, 8G, it would be advantageous for you all, right, as a company to continue to upgrade those poles to service those people to stay on the cutting edge as well. So, but again, you maintain the poles. Right now, I guess, right, Colleen, if a light goes out, our Department of Public Works fix it. We do the same thing in this case, right? We're not going to call Verizon to fix a light.
And this is,
We'll go fix a light.
I would assume it is in the maintenance agreement we would have to come to, because it's a every third pole would be owned by a different entity, but on our boardwalk, maintained by our public works, but with access to their maintenance crew. So I think there is some, Mr. Cannon will get involved on navigating that maintenance agreement. The right-of-way agreement right now as drafted is for a 40-year agreement, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because I think that speaks to Councilman McGovern's question about the technology and, you know, what is going to be pertinent in 5 years versus 10 years versus 40 years. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but we're committed. We're committed to the project. We're committed.
Well, that's the thing. You're committed to being here after the things are built. Again, 5, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years. No one on this dais who's here now. We just want to make sure that whatever decision we make, you know, doesn't just have a positive effect for the residents today, but also going forward as well. And not tie the hands of governing body members that, you know, we don't even know. So we'll put all that in the agreement, correct, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah, I just have one question. So the usual circumstance, notwithstanding your boardwalk, is a lot of times you guys contract with the power companies who own the poles that are already out there, and then there's just the consent for you guys to come up with the poles.
Correct.
But you had mentioned that there's 2 companies, right? So Verizon's putting equipment on the pole, and SQF is owning
The pole, yep, as a CLEC, correct.
Okay, so it's really two agreements then.
Can you just
Verizon
fast
needs
explain what the
permission.
CLEC is?
Sure, it's, I always get them, yeah, so it is a competitive local exchange carrier, as opposed to an ILEC, which is an incumbent, local exchange carrier. They're your Verizons, AT&Ts, and these are, CLECs are other entities that are allowed to erect poles in the right of way and have equipment attached to it.
And also in this case, what we look at on this picture, this is it. There's not gonna be anything else added to the poles later on, where you're gonna say, listen, we also need a 10-foot antenna attached to it.
Big fat box on the
Or
side.
you're gonna say, listen, you know, we're gonna rent out space to a competitor, or, which would make sense, but to someone else, and add more things onto it, correct?
Yep, no, this would be exclusive to what's on it, and what you see are the antenna.
I don't think you're allowed to do that without coming back here for permission.
No,
Just
no.
that point,
Okay.
who's
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, and to your first question, from Verizon Wireless, the consent resolution, it would be the vehicle to allow them to attach in the right of way, and also.
Two combined into one, because I mean, you both need permission, their equipment, and you're gonna be the owner of the pole.
Exactly.
So like JCPL has already had permission, but you typically, Verizon usually asks for permission to jump on JCPL poles.
Correct.
In this case, you just have another third party that's willing to do the contracting work on the boardwalk, I take it?
Yeah, and erect the pole and Verizon
And then have
attach
that
our
asset,
pole.
and then lease it to, okay.
Correct.
Makes sense. Okay.
And once it gets rolled out, and it's ready to be used, who will do the marketing or the notification, or will there be signs that you supply, Verizon Wireless provides free Wi-Fi? How are we doing that so people going on the beach says, wow, this is great? Is that, how's that?
We haven't discussed signage as of yet. What we have discussed, and would be a part of any agreement, is certainly when you are on your smartphone, on the picture of your iPad, you would see a pop-up, of available Wi-Fis. Connecting to that, you would have to have a splash page or a user agreement. Correctly, there'd have to be some confines about what is permitted use on a public Wi-Fi.
Have that an acceptable use policy.
Acceptable use policy. What we've discussed is a splash page that could be essentially split 50-50 between Verizon and the borough. The borough's 50% would be to promote local events, movie nights on 8th Avenue Beach, encouraging people to visit Main Street. The other 50% would be for, I believe, Verizon to utilize. Whether that was to sell advertising or to promote their products or whatnot, I think that's still up to be
It's still
discussed.
there, but I would like to stress too, because we've had additional conversations about that. Verizon is committed on what I'll call their 50% of the webpage to make it a local interactive experience. They kind of want it to be the landing page, and they want it to be useful, and they want it, so it's geared towards the benefit of the borough.
I just want to make sure, I just want to add, I mean, we're talking about, now that it occurs to me, I mean, we're talking about an unsecured network. It's not going to be password protected. It's going to be one of those, if you use this public Wi-Fi, even after you agree to the acceptable use policy, it's still, you want to use caution as far as setting your passwords on. You don't want to necessarily check your bank account, anything like that.
What we had discussed was full open Wi-Fi for the first season. And it was a question that the mayor and I asked early on in the process, that, what if someone is watching Netflix and now 3,000 people are trying to watch Netflix? There may be, and other public use policies do have things where they, let's say, kick you off after an hour, right? We don't have those rules yet. What we wanted to do was start with free, fair, and open as much as possible. May not be.
And you see people down there now, and it's parents and grandparents, taking pictures of the kids going to surf, right? And they want to post it to Facebook and share with everyone.
Right now.
So that's, that's why, or people just updating their own status, but a lot of it's going to be people uploading pictures. I mean, the amount of pictures people take at the beachfront is off the charts, right? But I think it really helps us as a beachfront, right? As a beachfront community, to be able to provide free Wi-Fi and be, on the cutting edge of this stuff, particularly with, we had a bad experience with someone who tried to come in and put in a 79-foot pole, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Without any authorization, and so it's nice to work with a reputable company like Verizon, who we're already familiar with we know the great service you guys provide. But for us to do this, because this is something, right, Colleen, we've been looking at for the last couple of years, to do this the way they're going to do it costs a lot of money. And we simply don't have the type of money to invest in something like this and do it the right way. Whereas if we can get Verizon to install it for free, to provide free Wi-Fi for our residents and visitors, I mean, that's a home run.
Yeah. But that leads me to a question, and I have to say this, I can see all the benefits for Belmar, and I'm loath to look at the horse in the mouth. But I think, I'm sure I'm not the only one, okay, Verizon's they're a big business, and not necessarily in the business of giving stuff away. So if you could explain to me, I mean, what is Verizon's benefit in this deal? Besides the fact that it's good PR for the company, and it will definitely service your customers will be happier because they get better service. But what else can you tell me about it?
So, as John said, it's a trial program, first in the country. I believe they're using it as a vehicle to see kind of what's next, to be honest with you.
Well, that homepage is basically the Verizon portion will be selling advertising locally. And you had some businesses that were here this evening that will probably consider it a smart investment. And then Verizon's basically getting their toes wet with this. This is the trial project, first time in the country. And they wanted to do it in Asbury, but Asbury, Madison Marquette has it on the boardwalk. So I kind of suggested Belmar as an opportunity, because you go from, I know, 6,000 to 7,000 in the winter to 90,000 at times.
And we have the infrastructure in place, so it's fairly easy install in Belmar as opposed to some other beach.
It's true too.
And again, I think what they get is they get to put up, 5G cellular service, in a really attractive location. And in exchange for that, it's almost a barter, right? We get free Wi-Fi. So, no, they're not, I mean, they're not, this is a mercy.
It's not a nonprofit,
right?
that's for
It's
sure.
not a nonprofit.
Yeah.
So, and we want Verizon to make money.
Yeah.
Right? Verizon,
I want to just clarify, 5G isn't happening right now. I mean, we're doing test pilot projects across the country, a couple of which are in New Jersey. If this, I believe, to clarify it, this could become part of the, will most likely become part of the backbone for 5G.
Just an important clarification.
The base of the light posts, no damage to our beautiful boardwalk?
No, I mean, really, the goal is that it's being engineered that we pick yours up and put ours down using the same house.
And real fast, so there's just and I don't know if the council members saw this as well, there seem to be conflicting pictures. So there's this one, if I can show you this, where it says public Wi-Fi for Belmar on here.
Yeah.
And then there's the one that you showed us. So which one would actually be installed?
The one in your left hand.
The one in my left, okay. So
Right, so that was, the packet you're holding was the initial packet, so some of the things have changed, but
Like it's a flying saucer anymore.
Yeah, right, but it shows two things, it shows some very valuable background information, but it also shows the evolution of our design.
Yeah.
So, so the other ones, one of these two, and it would obviously be your preference, would be what they would look for.
And you can color match both the shrouded and the unshrouded?
That is correct.
Is there any way to add cell cameras to them? Just so the police department can have access to them, just putting them up, or is that not in your area?
Probably something that could be discussed. I don't know if it's possible, but if it's something that you were interested in, it'd probably be something we could discuss.
And just for the council perspective, when we met on this, my sort of take was less is better. So when you look at the two, I figured the one that did not have the larger garbage can, the unshrouded.
Yeah,
right? Would you guys agree with that,
absolutely.
or would you prefer
No.
the shrouded? As long as they can color match it.
Just by looking at the photograph, I don't know, I want to see which one will work out better for us. I know.
Well, they both, I mean, basically.
This one shows some wires and stuff, so I like that. You don't want to see wires hanging out.
Oh, this one you mean?
Doesn't it show some wires in there? I think that's just a thing.
This won't be affected when a seagull chooses to sit on top of this, right?
Nope.
And you say free Wi-Fi after 2 years. What happens after 2 years? How do they, people want, they have to pay for the Wi-Fi on beach?
So I think that's to be determined. What I've been instructed is that Verizon is willing to commit to a minimum of 2 years of free Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But that number is negotiable.
Minimum of 2 years of free Wi-Fi. I believe. I think at the end of 2 years, I think both parties will evaluate where they are and go from there.
Okay.
If anything happens and after 2 years, there's no agreement with the materials in place, can another carrier come in and utilize them? Just, I don't want that, but I'm just saying, you know, worst case scenario.
So, under the current arrangement, it would be an SQF pole with Verizon wireless equipment.
Okay.
So SQF owns the pole.
Correct.
So if Verizon goes bankrupt.
Oh, goodness.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's say Verizon goes away. There's no more Verizon. SQF would simply find another carrier, I would guess, right?
It's not a foreseeable conclusion, but SQF would own the pole.
Understand.
Yeah.
And I do want to just be clear for council, because I think I know what Councilwoman Williams is starting to ask her question. The agreement with SQF
Correct.
would be for 40 years. So that would be a 40-year relationship of a pole that if, let's say, the Wi-Fi project goes away in 5 years, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, they would retain the rights to be on that pole for another balance of the 40.
With some other technology.
Yes, and so that's what you, to Councilwoman Nibley's excellent question about your another carrier going to that pole. No, it would be owned by that agreement and access only to SQF.
Yeah, I know 40 years ago, we had telephone booths on Main Street. 40 years from now, I know you can't answer what it's going to look like. There's just no way. Imagine had to dial, you had to dial a phone number. Yeah.
But I do need to stress the importance, though, that on the Verizon side, we're at the point in the project where they have to start investing some really serious money to get this moving. And at the risk of sounding too pushy, I apologize. Our timetables, we probably need some type of approval by the end of the month if we're going to meet our goal of Memorial Day.
In January or in February?
End of January. Our goal is to be live by Memorial Day for your benefit. It's a bit of it's an aggressive timeline internally, and in order for some of the internal processes to happen, we need some clear indication in the near future.
So I have shared with Mr. Cannon the draft documents. I have them available for you as well. What I would suggest is you leave this presentation and download to me and to Greg your questions, concerns, feedback, so that I can work with Mr. McCuffin on, you know, what possible next steps could be. I believe it's a resolution. If we proceed with it as is, it would be a resolution adopting the initial agreement and then ordinance that would require 2 readings for the right-of-way. Is that correct? Okay. So I know you guys are absolutely looking for some kind of indicator either way by the end of the month. Certainly it's not feasible to do 2 ordinance reads by the end of the month, but depending on council's feedback, we'll talk with Greg and talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I can ready to go. I just want to make sure I have a couple of concerns that we can talk about.
Okay.
So they're not major ones. It's just a matter of how to structure them.
All right, any other questions while we have them? If not, like you said, just email you questions.
Please, send me your questions. Greg and I will talk about it. We'll look in Robert, and I do want to, just from my perspective, thank Verizon. This has been a labor of love, at least for me, for a couple of years. As I said, we built the boardwalk with conduit under it because we were hoping that we'd find a way to do something like this. And it's a real pleasure to work with an organization like Verizon.
How much was that investment again?
Approximately $4 million.
Thank you, John.
And thank you, John Saliga, for thinking about Belmar
Yes.
for this project as well.
Thank you, John.
I truly appreciate it. I disrespect the other members of Verizon, but I can't imagine that we would on the radar screen if it wasn't for you. So
Correct.
Yes.
we are in your debt. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Can you give a copy to a copy of Kathy, a copy of George as well? Do they have extra copies of
They're going to send me something that I can send. So I'll send you guys some stuff.
Mayor, the question was just made, is this year-round use? Yes, it's year-round use.
Oh, yeah. Get a little cold up there today, but sit there in your car. Work. For your free Wi-Fi.
See my hat.
Next is on our workshop discussion is beach chair rental concession. Colleen Connolly.
Hi.
Was I talking about beach chair rental concession?
Just give your name and address.
Colleen Conley, I am your borough administrator. I wanted to talk to you briefly, because as you all know from past experience, January and February is really when we make our decisions about what amenities we're going to be offering on the beachfront, any changes to our rules, regulations, and whatnot. We do it as early as possible. Our beach chair concession rental was identified by our beachfront staff at the end of this last season as something that might benefit from going out to bid. History on that for you real quickly. Many of you will remember we did bid it once upon a time, several years ago. When those leases expired, the amenity went away. And really was at the request of Matt that we brought it back ourselves 3 years ago. So for 3 years, we have attempted to run a beach chair and umbrella concession rental down there ourselves. We learned a lot. I think we also learned that maybe we shouldn't be in the business of that. Just in that, I think there are other business models out there, and what we've done now is taken the fall to research what some other beaches are doing. We found a few models that we like a lot. We think this is right for benefit to go out to concession again. What we envision this time is a model where, as you well know, when we designed the new boardwalk, we constructed essentially 4 major entrances. And those 4 major entrances are where the playgrounds are located. So we ensure that those locations have a bathroom. We ensure those locations have a cell phone charging station. We ensure those locations have a water bottle filler. We would envision bidding this so that a vendor would staff those 4 beaches with chair and umbrella concessions. We would set a minimum bid. We would recommend at this time $2,500 a season. The bidding could go up from there. The model that we like a lot is similar to what's happening in Asbury Park right now. If you've been to the Asbury Park Boardwalk or Beach, it's a point of service model. So essentially you would walk down onto one of those 4 beaches, there'd be a stack of chairs there, a young man or woman with a clipboard ready to take your order, and would escort you to your preferred spot, plant your chair, plant the umbrella for you. They would do the collections, they would do the security. All we would really do is approve their sites, approve their product, and give them some storage space. So whether it's a box like we use for the lifeguard gear, or a locker similar to a beach locker.
Storage space at each of the 4 entrances?
Of the 4 entrances.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what our proposal is. I think it would be a more professional operation. The way we operated it was great, and it kind of ran on brute force and love and energy of some young kids who ran it. I think, though, when you look at the high-volume beaches, what we did was we had one central location and we kind of shuttled out to anywhere on the 21 beaches. And it was a little, we were a little too overextended. So by centering it on 4 major beaches, I think is going to provide the beachgoer with a much more amenable experience. So if you do choose, I'm going to ask you to grant me authority to go out to notice in the paper. That's all that is right now. We would have a public auction at a future meeting.
Any questions for?
It'll be chair and umbrella. Right?
Chairs and umbrellas. Actually, I think what we'd like to do is chair, lounge chair, and umbrella, just to give some people some options, because what we see a lot are people coming to the beach for a couple hours. They don't want a lounge chair. They don't want to necessarily be there for 8 hours. They just want a chair to be there for like 4 hours.
So chair, umbrella, lounge chair, and a big tent?
No tents.
No, we don't do that. You know what, I've seen the model in that park, and one of the things that I've noticed there is that a lot of times you'll see they leave collection till almost the end of the day, unless they absolutely have to go back and get the products, and they're running short of materials. They will leave it, and you'll see the staff. That's when they really put out a lot of their effort. They bring them in at the end of the day, and then they're stacking them up on the boardwalk or putting them away in the storage area. And I think in Asbury in particular, I think it works very well. I'm curious to see if it's, we're splitting the beach in 4 sections. Those are definitely larger sections than what Asbury's doing. So we would have to make sure that they can actually, whoever we get the concession needs to be able to deal with a bigger space than what Asbury's doing. And the other thing, I know we can't tell them who to hire. I mean, they hire whoever they want. They give us they make the bid, they get the concession. But I'd be curious if there's a way we could at least make some of the people aware, because I know some of the young men that have been doing it, and I don't know if they're going to keep doing it forever, but because they're definitely getting a little too old for that. But some of the kids that have been there, I want to see if they can still have a chance to apply to do that same kind of work if that's what they're interested in. Just make sure that whoever has the concession gives us the way to notify people who have been doing it before that they have a chance to apply for this now too. And then it's up to the vendors.
Sure, we can certainly encourage that. We have in the past with beachfront vendors, and oftentimes we find that they are very eager for reliable help.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it typically works in their favor. To your point about accessing all of the beach, I do think we need to leave open the possibility that it might not be the entirety of the beach. It could be maybe a 4-block buffer on each area.
Oh, okay.
And this came from feedback of talking to our existing crew who ran it these past couple of years, where again, that overextension really started to be a detriment to the operation. So it could be, let's say if you walk onto 4th Avenue Beach, the beach zone is from 2nd to 6th. I'm just making this up right now, but it's essentially a zone that they can walk. I would not envision having a vehicle there or a scooter on there. Those would be a manual operation.
Well, one vendor can handle all 4 locations.
That's what we're proposing.
So we're not bidding out each one.
No.
And I would love, again, once in place, some really great advertising for it, because I know for years we've been trying to promote this, but also promote somebody in Manhattan, wherever they are. Take a train down, you've got your town, you've got a backpack, you've got nothing, and that's all you need. Especially to help us with our parking situation. So I think it'd be great. But again, smart advertising where they could really promote getting people in town without driving down here.
Is there that much of a demand? I mean, would there be any problem not having umbrella chair rentals?
I was surprised, Council President. When I looked at the numbers, I was expecting to be having a put this to bed conversation, and the numbers really changed my perspective.
On weekends or weekdays or
All
what?
the time.
I'm a couple blocks away and I don't want to carry my.
And honestly, what I was also surprised by is the sheer number of families that are
I
looking
pay all
for it.
day.
Because they don't want, a lot of families visiting for just a day. Maybe don't either want to go to the expense of buying if they don't already own, or they don't want to dig it out of the basement. And so when I did an exit interview with some of our kids who ran it the last couple of years, and that was their number one thing, that families need this. So my opinion was really swayed by the time I really looked at it.
Yeah. To be transparent, one of the young men involved was my youngest son, Sean. He's been working at this concession, working with this activity for the last 3-4 years. And believe me, what I heard is it was crazy down there. We couldn't get enough. We didn't have enough. We didn't have enough. And the demand is definitely there. It's just, it'll let somebody else have the headache. You know?
I want to know, I didn't go to the beach last year.
Any other questions? So we'll look at going out to advertise and see what happens.
Freeman, do they need to vote?
Yeah, well, I have a
You
resolution.
have a resolution ready to add? Okay, great. So you'll see that on your calendar.
Added after this.
Do we have a resolution for tonight?
Yes, authorizing us to go out today.
Okay,
We
that's
will
all.
add it.
No, we can add it now. if you want.
Okay. I'll make a motion to add that onto the resolution calendar.
I'll second.
Okay,
Anything else for a workshop from any member of the council?
I'm good.
No? All right. So now we'll have, any petitions? Any petitions for the council? Next, approval of the minutes.
Did you want to do planning board appointments, or do we have to do the?
I'll do that afterwards.
Okay. There's 2 meetings here for the approval of the minutes. Should we do the December one first?
Yeah, let's do December 28th first.
Okay. I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 28th, 2017 be approved as recorded, and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Abstain.
Mayor Doherty?
Abstain.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes. And next, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on January 3rd, 2018 be approved as recorded, and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Next, we had one of our planning board members submit their resignation, so it opened up a space. So I'm going to make an appointment tonight to the planning board. So Matthew Doherty, Mayor of the Borough of Belmar, makes the following appointments to the planning board as per ordinance 1995-07. Class 4, Jared Cohen, member of the board to fill unexpired term of Judy Rakozak, expiring December 31st, 2021. We usually do these type of appointments at the reorganization, but this one just slipped through to the next meeting. So just wanted to put that on the record. So next are reports of council. Council President McGovern.
Can I go first?
Would you like to go first, sir?
I'll go first. Last weekend, I attended along with Mark, the outgoing fire chief's dinner, Tyler Brandel. He did a great job for the year 2017. He had 2 major fires, the one over here at the marina where the boats caught on fire, and then the one on 10th Avenue where the first report came in that a house was on fire, and then the next report was 2 houses were on fire, and the next report was 3 houses were on fire. And through those 2 major fires, they had no injuries, and they controlled it as well as they could. They worked with other towns, so it was Tyler Brendel did a great job for the year 2017. On January 1st, we swore in new fire chief Steve Hines, and boy, we can't thank the fire department enough for the effort they put out on that fire in Lake Como when the Hollycroft Inn burned, and the wind the air temperature, the wind chill factor was so terrible. And all those guys were out there that whole time. Again, they suffered no injuries. To put the fire out without it going to any other buildings. So our fire department just did a terrific job. And then just yesterday, I wish he was here, but we couldn't get him here. Larry Kelly, a policeman for Belmar, went and made the rescue, helped make the rescue of a gentleman that was in distress in the inlet yesterday. Larry Kelly took a sit-on-top kayak and paddled out to him. I mean, I just know the conditions of, they were dangerous. You sit on top in the inlet, easily could have fallen over into the water, and that would have been major problem. I knew Larry when he was a lifeguard in Belmar. He used to help me out with the junior lifeguards, and our junior lifeguards always used to really like when they saw Larry walking down, because he looked like a football player. Well, he was a football player for Massimo, but he looked like a Division I football player. He was a Division I football player. But he was the nicest guy. The kids loved him. He was big, he was strong, got along with them, and he enjoyed working with the kids, and I'm real glad that he's working for our Belmar Police Department. So we should really do something for him the next meeting.
Next meeting, Wilbur.
I mean, he really risked his life there yesterday, going out there.
He's done that in the past, too.
Yeah.
With ocean saves as a police officer.
I think.
Strip it down.
It's often first.
Yeah.
It's a real deal.
Yeah.
And then finally, on Tuesday, February 13th, the Historical Society is having a show and tell at the new community center down here on 7th Avenue and D Street. So if you have something up in your attic, down your basement, your garage, or something like that you think has some historical significance, or you just want to come down and listen to what other people are bringing to that show and tell, because it really sparks a lot of stories about Belmar from years back. So you'll have a good time. It's going to be at the community center, again, down 7th Avenue and D Street on Tuesday, February 13th. Also, we're getting real close to selecting a company that will do the Doughboy statue. Either company that gets the bid, they're going to take down the statue and bring it to their factory, and they're going to redo it there, and they'll bring it back, and it's cost a lot of money, but the Historical Society raised over $10,000 for the revitalization of that statue. That's my report.
Thank you. Councilman Mark Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo some of Councilman Brennan's comments about the fire department. I mean, when you go to their chief's dinner and you listen to everything that they did the whole entire year and all the things they volunteer for.
Don't forget the karaoke. Good.
And you got to remember that. And you remember that they were all volunteers and what they do for our town. It was really an impressive dinner and listening to all the things that happened during the year. And I just want to really congratulate every one of the members, not only the fire chief going out and Steve Hines coming in, but all the fire department members and the first aid. They do an unbelievable job for volunteers in our town. And the only other thing that I have, we did have a Harbor Commission meeting. We're still working on the marketing plan to try to get slips filled up for the summer. So that's one of the things on the agenda for. And Councilman Brennan was also at the Harbor Commission meeting, and that was basically the discussion.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Tom Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the first meeting of the year of the Belmar Environmental Commission. The new chair is Janice Blackburn. They have a couple of new members, and it feels like there's a new energy with this group. A couple of things they wanted to focus on. I guess the general word would be communications. Improve communications with residents, with ideas about what they themselves can do to, help the environment, be environmentally responsible, and save money. It's always a big thing. You can definitely save money by being responsible. And also to improve communications with the council, with the planning board, the zoning board. A couple of things that they're going to be looking into in particular. One of the new members brought up the idea of town-wide composting. Would it be possible for us to pursue that? So they're going to be investigating that. A couple of other things that we're just kicking around. We're going to come back with some more concrete ideas, talk to the borough administrator, see what we can do about things that just definitely would improve Belmar environmentally. And one of the things that I'm interested in doing is, Belmar used to get a lot of credit for being, we were one of the first towns in the state with our own recycling center. We really led the way. And I wanted to see if we can just get that going again for Belmar, be an environmental leader, be the town that does things first, and let everybody else follow our example. I think it's good for the town, I think it's good for the state, and let's see if we can get that going. And that's my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jennifer Nero.
Yeah, I want to congratulate again Christian for becoming an Eagle Scout. My son is a Cub Scout, and it's difficult to even get to meetings with the way school and busy schedules are. So for a young man to become an Eagle Scout is amazing, and I'm hoping my son is an Eagle Scout one day. He better be. Want to thank also, I know JCP&L helped out our Belmar Elementary PTO. I also want to mention that they gave a $1,500 check to the Belmar Arts Center. We have a small group of people at the Arts Center. They do a tremendous job, and they work very, very hard on keeping the center going. So a $1,500 donation is huge to them. So again, thank you to Kieran and JCP&L for helping the Arts Center as well. The kudos to the youth, to the Recreation Department, Youth Club. They've got a tremendous turnout for the 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, as well as the 6th, 7th, 8th graders. Both sets of my kids, they are having a great time, and again, it's hard to keep all those kids happy, and they seem thrilled. Baseball's going on tonight, so again, kudos to that group. I want to thank Kathy with Tap into Belmar. She just stays on top of our town and everything happening. She did a lovely story on a group of kids in town that put on a Christmas play. So if you can visit Tap into Belmar / Lake Como, it was really just a wonderful article on the true meaning of Christmas. So thank you for doing that. Shop local, I can't say it enough, especially in the winter. Our businesses do struggle a bit, and I know I wake up, I go to our dry cleaner, I do my hair in town, I do shopping in town. Anything you can do to support keeping the revenue in our town would be helpful. And with regards to the Historical Society, part of what I did for Christmas, myself, not yay me, but I bought a lot of friends and family the Belmar books, the history books, volumes 1 and 2, and I also bought bricks for different people in town, that friends of mine, to have a brick over the Doughboy statue. So some things like that just help, our local organizations are great, and their name will be over at the Doughboy area forever. So they work hard over at the Historical Society, and it's just one little way to help them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Part of my report was already mentioned about the police department. They really did a remarkable job, and fire department. But another one I mentioned is the Department of Public Works did a really outstanding job with our most recent snowstorm. I got to tell you that Mike Campbell and crew have it down to an absolute science. I will tell you that we can do a much better job on the roads if people move their cars off of the roads. So I don't believe we did much ticketing this time around, but in the future that may change. That may be necessary because it makes a huge difference, and you can see it throughout town where there were no parked cars versus where there were parked cars. Yesterday, Councilwoman Nicolay and I had the opportunity to go to our new governor, Phil Murphy's swearing-in ceremony in Trenton, I do want to say, as he exits that Governor Chris Christie really was a great friend to Belmar. He was a man of his word. You know, one of the more memorable events in our town was when he famously told someone to sit down and shut up on Main Street. But I would tell you what's most important and the lasting effect of that day was traveling with him to the head of Lake Como and Ocean Avenue and explaining to him the necessity for an outflow pipe to protect the homes in that area from flooding. And then that pipe will hopefully be finished by this summer. And it's due because of the governor awarding us that contract. So awarding us the money so we could perform that work. And I think that's what's going to be the real long-lasting impact on Belmar. But whether it was the cleanup effort, rebuilding the boardwalk, rebuilding our pavilions that he supported, you know, and everything else regarding Sandy, the governor was a true friend to us and a real man of his word. So I just want to publicly thank him for everything he did during his tenure. And now, as I mentioned, we have a new governor. And I would tell you that, you know, out of 565 municipalities, we are not a very large municipality. So it's good to have a relationship with the governor. We have a good relationship going in with this one. So I'm hopeful that he'll be here on parade day. So we can get some good exposure in Belmar. We get to see him again. But I think it's important for us for competing with those other 565 municipalities for attention, grant money, and other activities from the state to have a good relationship with the governor, whether it is a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. So I have some good news for some certain areas of town, although I think it's going to benefit the town overall. Our code enforcement has notified me that the Belmar Inn is no longer operating. The Belmar Inn will no longer take in any tenants. That the Belmar Inn on 12th Avenue is permanently closed. If you know anything about this, it's a huge benefit to our community. It's not only an eyesore, but also a public safety nuisance for many, many years. So that's good news for anyone on 12th Avenue or in that area. That is all for me. Next is public session on the resolution calendar. We have no ordinances, so this is public session on just the resolution calendar. Just raise your hand, wait to be called on, come to the microphone, name and address for the record, and then whatever comments, questions you may have on the resolution calendar. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public session for the resolution calendar.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
With that, I will turn the resolution calendar over to Council President McGovern.
Okay, tonight we have 4. Did we add the 5th resolution?
We have a 5th resolution authorizing us to go out to bid for each chair concession.
Okay, let's do the 4 that are on the agenda first, and then we'll go to that. Okay, I make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the payment of bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Oscar?
Yes.
Councilman O'Donnell?
Yes. Second, I make a motion to approve the resolution of the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, New Jersey, authorizing an amendment to the redevelopment agreement between the Borough of Belmar and 500 Main Street Partners Urban Renewal LLC, to the redeveloper, and confirming certain parking requirements concerning Block 45, Lot 5, on the borough's official tax map located in the Seaport Village redevelopment area. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Oscar?
Colleen, this is just a change for the lot across the street? Is that what this is for?
Yes, this is to attach Block 45, Lot 5 to the redevelopers agreement for 500 Main.
All right, yes.
Councilman O'Donnell?
So there is no real moving of property or extending the commercial area into the residential?
This block and lot is already in the Seaport redevelopment area. This is to simply attach that block and lot to the previously approved redevelopers agreement. I believe that the intention is to use it to alleviate some parking issues in that immediately adjacent area and to support the project.
Okay, well, my answer is yes. Third, make a motion to approve the resolution awarding the contract for curbside collection of refuse, trash, and garbage, bulk items, and white goods for the borough of Belmar. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
So this is how this worked out?
Yes.
Okay, and it's a little more than we've been paying, but.
It's this is the low bid. 2 bidders responded. This is our statutorily required 5-year maximum period. We publicly bid the project. 2 bidders responded. This is the low bid. This is the company's name is Delissa. They're presently our recycling contractor. They were our solid waste contractor in the previous contract that expired 5 years ago. They were the low bid. This is a model that is simply replacing exactly what you have now. Same pickup days, same pickup times. Honestly, instead of a blue truck, it'll be a red truck. But otherwise, it's not a market change for the residents.
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Osberg?
I just have a question for our labor council, or our borough attorney. I use this company for all my demolition work.
You have a business relationship with them?
Well, yeah.
Then you should abstain.
I'll abstain.
My answer is yes. Fourth resolution, I make a motion to approve the resolution appointing special police officers for 2018.
Second?
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Osberg?
Yes.
Councilman Hubbard?
Yes. Next, I guess I'll try and take a shot at this. I make a motion to approve the following appointment to the planning board as per Borough Ordinance 19.
We're doing it's a resolution authorizing the borough clerk to authorize, to advertise for bids for a beach chair concession.
Oh, I thought it was for the planning board.
No, you already did that.
All right, I'll second that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Nicolay?
Aye.
Councilman Osberg?
Yes.
Councilman Hubbard? Thank you.
Yes.
It's good.
Thank you, Council President McGovern.
You are welcome.
That concludes the resolution calendar. Next, there's no ordinance calendar, as I mentioned, so next is public session. Any comments or questions from the public, please raise your hand when you call on, come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, date of birth, social security number, and whatever's on your mind. Seeing no public comment, I'll make a motion to close the public session and adjourn.
Second.
On favor?
Aye.